In this AI SEO Masterclass with Matt Zimmerman, we'll be looking at how to use ZimmWriter to optimize and rank content, including how to replicate your competitor sites, how one user of ZimmWriter actually creates 50,000 blog posts per month, and we're even going to show you exactly how to make money with Bing SEO. Let's get straight into it. So, what's the best way to use ZimmWriter?
Well, the best way is on a Windows computer. Are you talking about like a platform, or are you talking about like actually using it to write blog posts?
Using it to rank. Yeah. I haven't figured out how to install it on a Mac yet, but we'll come on to that later. But yeah.
Okay. Lots of people, I've been so busy creating ZimmWriter that I'm like, I don't have a lot of time to like make a lot of different sites, you know? I've made 6 sites and I can talk about them in a second, but there's a lot of people who are using it for different purposes. Some people are just doing local, and it's great for, because it SERP scrapes, so you can get all those juicy like points of interest and whatnot, and stuff that Google really likes. It doesn't seem like Google's hitting the local sites very very hard, so you can queue up like a lot of like locally oriented articles, and then have ZimmWriter just write that stuff, put some AI images in there, automatically upload it or drip feed it to your WordPress site. Other people are finding, everybody's all up in arms that Google is like, it's impossible to rank affiliate sites now on Google, but on Bing it's not. And I think we live like in 2024, we're in an era where the more sites you can create, the better luck you'll have. And so I have a guy who has like 11 ZimmWriter licenses, and he's running 11 like virtual instances of ZimmWriter, and he's putting up a site like every other couple days. And each site's I don't know about each site. He hasn't told me about each site, but a lot of his sites are, $500 or $1,000 a month. And this is stuff he just spun up in the past month. So if you, imagine you have, 100 sites like that, you're making some good money. And that's a lot of that's Bing traffic. So there's people doing that. And then obviously you can do just info type of articles, low competition, okay volume, if you can still find those things, and just put that in, put those titles into ZimmWriter, and then it will, SERP scrape and create those articles, upload them to WordPress, and it ranks. And so for me, and you can also use it other ways too. Like maybe you have a client, and maybe like a local plumber or a local dentist or something like that, and they just want some filler articles, because again, Google's not hitting these local sites that hard. So local dentist, okay, 5 reasons why you should get your teeth cleaned every 6 months, or 10 reasons why ignoring a cavity could be bad news. So these are easy articles you can put into ZimmWriter. ZimmWriter will write some relevant stuff depending on the model that you choose, and upload them to WordPress. And now you can charge the guy $50, $100 per article. So local's great if you have some clients or you're an agency.
Yeah, I've seen it working better than ever recently. It's just like, it seems like local SEO seems to be getting easier. Almost. I've never seen it trending this much, and we've built out a bunch of local SEO sites, and they just rank really well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because it's weird. You'll even see some local sites now ranking for these national queries, because I guess Google's opinion is they're not biased. And it's like the best toothpaste. Well, if a local dentist is writing an article about the best toothpaste, they might not have any skin in the game, because they just want you to come to their dentist practice. They don't really care if you buy, there's no affiliate links or anything on there. They're just recommending what they believe is the best toothpaste.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how do you set it up on a Mac?
So you're like all about the Mac, huh? So I'm
in the ecosystem.
In the ecosystem. I like Mac too. It's been weird. I've gone to a lot of these SEO conferences, and like I was thinking like 90% would be Mac, but the majority are Windows. I've actually had a lot of people they'll go out and they'll just buy a cheapo $100 computer, and then just to run ZimmWriter, it will just be their ZimmWriter computer, just dedicated computer, or they'll
ZimmWriter machine.
Yeah, or they'll do a VPS in the cloud, because then they essentially have a cloud access to ZimmWriter. Setting it up on Mac, there's Wine. Have you heard of Wine before?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never used it, but yeah.
So like the straight up Wine, install is complicated. Like it, you could probably find some ways to do it online, but it's not totally simple. So the easier ways that still use Wine, one's called Crossover, and that's like a paid platform. You can pay like $100 a year for that. You can also use. I'm advocating for Whiskey, and if you actually go to my YouTube channel, I have a 5-minute guide on installing Whiskey. Whiskey is completely free. It's like a wine wrapper, and you can get up and running with ZimmWriter in almost no problem at all. The only thing I've noticed with it is when you SERP scrape, there's like an option to enable light mode, because for whatever reason, I don't know why, calculated the SEO keywords, the algorithms I use run slow when it's like using that type of emulation, that wine, whiskey emulation. And then also I really enjoy using the keyboard shortcuts anywhere with ZimmWriter. You can basically use ZimmWriter in any application or in any website. And that's a little bit more tricky to do when you're using the wine method or the whiskey method. So there's a video on my YouTube channel on how to install it using whiskey. I can walk you through it after the video, but it's very, very easy to do. And then the other way is using parallels. And I think when I share my stuff tonight with you and I do like a screen share, I'll show you it running on parallels. That's how I record all my videos. So I'm on a Mac right now, and then I'll actually run it on parallels for recording demonstration tutorials and things like that. So, but the ultimate goal is to bring it to multiple platforms. But I guess you know this probably very well. As entrepreneurs, we're trying to figure out what fires we're going to put out with our limited resources. So.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. One of the other things I wanted to ask you, right, was like, there's so many AI writers out there. Like literally, I see a new one come out on AppSumo every single day when it comes to SEO and AI writers. Why do you think ZimmWriter has been like one of the few that's actually kind of made it and stuck with people?
Well, a couple reasons, I think. Some of them are, I guess, more complicated reasons than others. So I'm a solo developer. So I do the coding, but I also do the prompting. And a lot of prompting for writing blog posts is, if you want good quality, it takes a coder that knows the English language very well and knows the intricacies of SEO and whatnot. And so it's hard to find that. And so I've been able to, I'm not a professional coder by any means. That's not my day job. But I have kind of some skills here and there, and that's enabled me to create some software that writes very high quality blog posts. And the cool thing is, unlike these other platforms, there's no limits on my usage because it's a bring your own API key, and it's desktop software too. So I'm not going out of business. There's no like server costs because it all runs on your own computer. So I don't, my monthly revenue is healthy. ZimmWriter's not going out of business. I'm continuing to do updates, providing a lot of updates and providing, a lot of YouTube videos on how to use this stuff. And then also the quality that you get and the flexibility that you get with ZimmWriter is kind of unparalleled with a lot of different AI writers. There's a lot of things you can do in ZimmWriter that you can't do anywhere else with any other tools. Or if you can, there's bits and pieces, but it's also very expensive in these other tools. With ZimmWriter, you can, queue up GPT 3.05 if you want to, and then write, 50,000 blog posts in a month for a penny each if you really want to.
That's mental though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
If you want, put it this way, if you want the lowest priced, highest quality bulk writer for blog posts, it's ZimmWriter. There's literally there's no questions about that. So.
All right. Should we get into content creation?
Sure.
Yeah. Do you want to share your screen and we can run through it?
Yeah, no problem.
All right, let's do it. By the way, anyone watching this and thinking about doing 50,000 posts in 1 month, I don't advocate that. Check out my quality control section in the free course. Before I get clapped again.
Now this is in parallels. Can you see my screen? I can't see you, but hopefully you can see my screen. All right, so this is I'll show you ZimmWriter in a second, but this is a site I made, AIblogpostwriter.com, and I have so these are categories on the site. And so at your leisure, you can kind of go through these. And so as an example, I wrote the same 60 articles multiple times, but with different settings. So like this is the 60 articles with GPT-4 Turbo, SERP scraping, and something we have called a style mimic, which will mimic a competitor's style. This is with GPT 3.5 Turbo, SERP scraping, and custom prompt. And then this group up here are the same Amazon Roundup articles, but with different models. And then finally down here for tonight, I did some programmatic SEO for you. So this is an example of that using GPT-4o and then SERP scraping. So you can kind of go through here and kind of check some of these out to see what an example of this is. So I think these articles like were 10 cents each because I used GPT-4o, but this was with SERP scraping, AI images, bolding, pulls in a YouTube video, does a key takeaways, and then it's all programmatic. So it's like best time to visit Richmond, Virginia, what to know before visiting Richmond, Virginia. So we built all this with a custom outline in bulk, programmatic SEO, and our people also frequently ask questions, and it's like 10 cents. Whereas like stuff over here, these articles were 6 pennies in here. This is just GPT 3.5 with SERP scraping. And then we have like Amazon product roundup articles. This is with GPT 3.5. These are 4 pennies each. So like 5 best noise canceling headphones. And it auto, do you know AAWP? The Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it auto integrates with that. And so it will auto create these boxes for you. So I think this was like 5 pennies or something like that. So it pulls the product.
Just for anyone watching, like if you don't know what AAWP is, basically it's a plugin where you can connect your Amazon Associates account where you make your affiliate income, and then this will feed in those product boxes like you were showing a second ago, like this.
Yes.
And also, I know you mentioned SERP scraping. Some people won't be familiar with that. Do you want to explain?
Sure. Yeah. So the AI, the knowledge of the AI is limited. It's cut off at a certain point. And even if even if you have stuff that falls within the range of the AI knowledge, the AI does not have knowledge on everything. Hyper specific, hyper detailed like product information and things like that. So that's when we need to actually go to Google, pull in the top 10 results, and then summarize some of those, and then use those summaries as our kind of our knowledge base for that particular article. So that's what we call SERP scraping. It's like you go to Google and you're looking at all the different results, you're pulling out the relevant ones, you're summarizing them and using that as your knowledge base. ZimmWriter does that all automatically if you enable that. So, but it's now that particular feature requires a ScrapeOwl account. Everything in ZimmWriter is like a bring your own API key. ScrapeOwl account's $5 a month if you want to do that. So it's all this stuff's really dirt cheap. It's
getting cheaper and cheaper, isn't it, as well? Like if you look at these APIs, every time there's a new update, it's becoming cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah, it's crazy cheap, and the cool thing is stuff still ranks. I made 6 sites, and for 4 of them, I just used my topical authority generator, and I didn't actually target any SEO keywords, and I'm getting a couple clicks a month on those 4 sites. The other 2 sites, I actually I did keyword research for. One of them was just like straight up low competition but medium volume keywords. I'm getting like 120 clicks a day on that, and then I did another with programmatic SEO. And I'm getting like 20 clicks a day. But on each of those, they all have like 30, 40 articles on them. And they're slowly ramping up. They're all on drip feed for the next, I think they're dripping out through the remainder of 2025. So, ZimmWriter writes it all, puts it all in WordPress, and then schedules it all to drip out at your particular schedule. So stuff still ranks, and it ranks very inexpensively.
Do you want to show how to use it?
Yeah. So this is the ZimmWriter This is the one negative some people have about the ZimmWriter interface. Although if you're familiar with Screaming Frog, this is that rustic type of Windows XP interface. So the interface is nothing to write home about, but the function is there. All right, the function allows you to do a lot of stuff in here. So this is the bulk writer, for instance. We'll come over here. We'll click the bulk writer, and you have. I like to think of ZimmWriter as a Swiss Army knife. You can do a million things with it, okay? So you can come in here and and don't let the name bulk writer throw you off. You can just write one article if you want to. 5 reasons to brush your teeth, if you want to. But you can come in here and put 1,000 articles if you want to. Just a new line, a new article title. Lots of different settings down here, all right? You can set the number of H2s that you want. You can have the AI automatically determine the number of H2s. You can cap it out on a particular limit. You can explain to the AI how long of a section you want for each of the subheadings, for the H2s, the H3s, or whatnot. Your voice, literary devices, if you want to randomly insert metaphors and similes and things like that. You want lists, you want tables. You want to nuke AI words. You don't like delve, you don't like dive. There's an option to not only add your AI words you don't like, but then also have the AI nuke those words. You can enable bolding to help readability. You can enable your key takeaways, and then you can enable this for a random chance at H3s. All right. There's a standard intro, and there's also a search intent intro. The search intent intro is something I really like. With the recent update that Google pushed out, if you kind of read between the lines, what they're very interested in is whether or not you're answering the search query, the search intent, as quickly as possible. Or I guess not as quickly as possible, but if you're answering that search query. So if they ever sent a rater to your site, a manual rater, or maybe if they eventually do this with AI, they're looking, are you answering the search intent from the particular title, the particular article title? And this, if you enable the search intent intro, it does that. Because honestly, if you look at the heat maps at how people actually read and consume articles, we're in a TikTok generation. People are scrolling really, really fast. And that's the mentality they have. They want the answer immediately. So I would rather give them the answer, using the search intent intro. It's almost like a featured snippet. Instead of saying like, hey, here's, we're going to talk about 5 reasons to brush your teeth. Brushing your teeth is really important. And, let's dive into the article and figure out why. Instead, the search intent intro will give you those 5 reasons in that introduction. So the user might bounce from the article after he reads it, but he's not going to poke a stick. He's not going to click on then another article because he has his answer. He or she knows why it's important to brush your teeth now.
The thing I would say on that as well is like, if you look, for example, at a lot of human written websites, It's all fluff. Like they've got 100 words of just fluff in the intro, and then gradually they get through to the content. But if you use AI in the right way, it's quite often better than a human's written it because, for example, you are matching the search intent like perfectly.
Exactly.
And giving the user the information straight away.
Yeah, and so a lot of the introductions, like, pick your favorite AI writer and read the introduction. A lot of those introductions will be fluff. And, I've looked at the heat maps, install Clarity, look at the people consuming your articles. They read the intro and then they read the key takeaways, and then they determine whether or not they're going to continue reading the article. And honestly, I'd rather give them the answer in the intro and then regurgitate the answer again in the key takeaways. And then if they still want to read the rest of the article, hey, that's icing. Now, that's icing on the top. And I'm going to hopefully increase in rankings because Google's going to see that they're satisfied with what they read on my page.
For SEOs watching this, would you recommend installing something like Clarity?
Oh, definitely. You have to. Every niche is going to be different. All right. And for whatever niche you're in, install Clarity and, each month go through and see how they're consuming your articles. See what they're looking at. See if you need to structure your layout of your articles differently. It's so imperative.
Good tip there. All right.
So I'll hit them up with the answer and the search intent. We'll hit them up with the answer and the key takeaways. And then also there's an option, I'll show you in a second, to enable YouTube videos. And so we can pull in a relevant YouTube video too. And that will boost that page on time. So those 3 things hopefully are satisfying Google. The user's happy. You can enable FAQs, long ones or short ones. There's an audience personality. This is based on 12 different brand archetypes. You can kind of read more about it in the documentation I have. Lots of different models you can choose from. Basically all the important OpenAI models. And then the Anthropic models, Haiku, Sonnet, and Opus. And there's also Llama 3, which is kind of interesting. Being desktop software, eventually I'd like to allow users to run their own locally hosted models. I don't know. Are you familiar with Llama 3?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Meta's model, right?
Yeah, it's Meta's. So they will have 3 variations. They have 2 variations right now. They have an 8 billion parameter model, a 70 billion parameter model, and an upcoming 400 billion parameter model. So the 8 billion, it can do basic things, but it can't handle the prompts inside of ZimmWriter. So it fails. The 70 billion can handle the prompts inside of ZimmWriter, and the quality's very close to GPT-4. It's not quite there, but it's very close. The downside, though, is you'll need about 34 gigabytes of GPU memory to run it. And so it's impractical to run it almost, unless you have like some $10,000 system, because most of the NVIDIA cards cap out at 24 gigabytes. So there's a company called Grok, not to be confused with Elon Musk's Grok. This is GROQ. And they host the Llama model. And right now it's free. Now it's rate limited right now, but it's free. And so you can actually go get their API, plug it into ZimmWriter, and write content, excluding AI images, but write content completely for free. Now, when they do open that up for paid, the pricing appears to be for the 70 billion Llama 3 less than the price of GPT 3.5 Turbo. So that's another option you can write stuff with. And then you can write in the style of someone. And this is a little bit different from how it works in other things. Like if you put in like a particular person, like Rocky Balboa or something like that. Typically, if you told the AI to write in the style of Rocky Balboa, and the AI is going to start saying like, "Hey, I'm Rocky Balboa, yo Adrian," and things like this. So the way ZimmWriter does it is actually ZimmWriter will try to figure out the way Rocky would write, okay, and then based on those characteristics, it would write with that particular style. If you don't want to write that particular way, you can also use the auto style, where ZimmWriter will determine on an article by article basis how who would be the authority to write this particular topic. For this one, it would probably be a dentist, and then it would determine how a dentist would write and write in that particular style. Let's see. You can enable a featured image from AI. All right, we have DALL-E 3, and then we also have a stable diffusion integration. And there's different stable diffusion models. There's the standard one, there's a stable diffusion core, stable diffusion turbo, and then finally a stable diffusion 3. And you can do subheading images. And there's a couple other options you can play with. A lot of juicy stuff over here.
How do you decide like which is the best stable diffusion model to use?
So there is first of all, tests, okay? But what ZimmWriter does, and this is another unique feature to ZimmWriter, is ZimmWriter, if you try to use stable diffusion, sometimes you'll get blurred models or blurred images. The image will be blurred, or stable diffusion will say, "Oh, I can't generate that stuff," and it could be completely harmless, innocent stuff. Like I have one of my affiliate sites deals with skin and stuff like that, like skin lotions and things like that, without revealing it too much. Anytime you start talking about skin and body parts and things like that, you could end up with a blurred image. So what you can actually do in ZimmWriter is you can go into the options menu and go into let's see, you can set up an image prompt. And I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but for every site that you have, you can have so imagine you have a site about dogs, a site about skincare, all these different sites. You can set up a custom prompt to generate that image that might exclude out humans or exclude out skin, or you can kind of dial that prompt in for that particular site. So you're getting images that are spot on, exactly kind of what you want, and that don't get blurred or don't hit those prohibited flags and whatnot. And then when you generate the images, they can, they'll look spot on for you. I'll preview all that stuff in this thing called Dream Studio. And this is made by Stability AI. And let's see if I get a login right now. What Dream Studio will do is it allows you to just in real time test out a model and see or test out a prompt and kind of see what you get. And you can choose a style. You can say, I want digital art. I want low poly. I want origami. And you can kind of see how your prompts are working out. Now, they only have the one model in here. They only have the cheapest model, which is stable diffusion, or just the normal non-core model. But you can just imagine that the higher end models will just be better quality. And you can just run some tests inside of ZimmWriter to see what the quality would be. But at least testing your prompts in here would ensure that you're getting the subject matter that you want for your particular site. So I did this with that skin site I was talking about, and it was flawless. Nothing was blurred anymore. Everything was spot on. So let's see, there's SERP scraping. You can go in here and you can enable SERP scraping. You can pick your country and then the exact city. This isn't that relevant unless you're going to do some hyperlocal stuff, like Beverly Hills. Maybe there's some different areas inside of Beverly Hills, or you're New York City. Maybe there's some different boroughs in there. So that's SERP scraping. There's a style mimic. And now this is kind of wild. This allows you to find somebody else's blog post or something, and you paste it in here. Some of these I actually copied off of other people. So I just wrote private in here because I didn't want people to see what I took it from. But I can go and find a blog post that you wrote or something like that. That would be similar to the type of niche that I'm doing for my site. And then I can paste it in here and then use the AI to generate a mimic. And so this would be the mimic. And then we can apply the mimic to our article, and it will kind of write in that style. Now, a mimic's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be 100% identical to that particular style you're trying to mimic, but it'll be a lot closer. So maybe you have a news type site. All right, then go to CNN or something, copy an article in, mimic that style, and you can save it and then load it up anytime you are writing for that particular, like this is a reporter style, writing for that particular niche. Here's a travel blogger. Okay. So those are mimics. You can enable YouTube videos. And there's also an SEO CSV, which that really kind of gets deep into the woods, but it allows you a much more surgical approach to your articles and what you're creating. There's a Google sheet, and you can actually fill that out with your keywords, with your outline, with all kinds of stuff, and then import that CSV file. And so you're not messing with this in here, and it will write some really high quality stuff. The WordPress integration is pretty powerful. It allows you to select your site. You can select your category, your subcategory, and then you can say, you know what, I have like 1,000 articles in here that I want to write. So you queue them all up and you say, I want 3 posts each week starting on, you can even backdate stuff if you want to, but starting on today, and then you save it, and then we'll automatically upload the stuff, schedule that, and then it will automatically post on your site because it's already on your site. That the cron job will just trigger, and the stuff will publish on that particular date. Now, there's a lot more stuff you can do in here. There's custom outlines and custom prompts. Custom prompt allows you to layer a second prompt onto particular sections. So maybe you are let's see if there's a call to action in here. I don't have a call to action, but maybe you're a plumber, okay? And so you want to write some blog posts, but in the conclusion, you want a call to action that says, hey, by the way, mention, you're telling, like this would be the prompt, mention that, my company's ABC Plumbers, and we're located at, in Toledo, Ohio. Here's our phone number, and call us for a special deal or something like that. So you'd create that prompt, and you'd apply it to the conclusion. All right. And you can apply a custom prompt to all kinds of different sections, and you can apply the prompt. You can actually have the AI apply that prompt using a specific model. So you can write the article with a particular model, but you can apply the prompt with a totally different model. Like if you have a complex prompt, maybe you want to use a more powerful model, a more expensive model, but write the article itself with a less expensive model. And then there's custom outlines, and this is very, very powerful. This allows you to even do programmatic SEO. So you put your custom outline in here. Here's like a little guide to the custom outline. It allows you, and the custom outline it's a little weird. This is not an outline for like this thing right here. A custom outline is a situation where you want this outline to be applied to each article in this list. And so imagine you had I guess the example that I had was, let's see, best things to do in Toledo, Ohio. Best things to do in Cleveland, Ohio. Stuff like that. So I think I had like 66 articles queued up. And then I selected things to do. So this is my custom outline. Can you see this okay?
Yep.
Okay. So the first H2 would be best time to visit. And then I have this is the programmatic part. I have a variable right here. Best time, but it would be like Toledo, Ohio. What to know before visiting Toledo, Ohio. Best things to do in Toledo, Ohio. And then I'm telling it there's like another special code that you can put in here to tell it to automatically generate 5 H3s. How var1, so this would be Toledo, Ohio, compares to other cities. And we're going to write this in the first person plural voice. What makes Toledo, Ohio an interesting place to live? And so it applies this custom outline to each one of these. And so for the variable example, we specify a variable here, var1 equals Toledo, Ohio. var1 equals Cleveland, Ohio. You could put all this into an Excel sheet and kind of merge it all together and just paste all the results in here. That's what I did. It's very easy to do. But then when you set this all up and you write it, you'll get something like I showed you earlier, which is this programmatic result, like the best things to do in Honolulu, Hawaii. So we have our cool intro, key takeaways, and then all this is done with that programmatic outline I just showed you. What to know before visiting Honolulu. best thing to do in Honolulu. And so these are the automatic H3s that were generated that are relevant, and it's all based on the SERP scraping. So ZimmWriter is kind of like an onion. You just keep peeling and you find new cool ways to use it and new cool features to use in it. But that's the bulk writer in a nutshell. I can show you a lot more inside of ZimmWriter, like the AI Vault, which all these different features. But do you have any questions about the bulk writer?
That's it, really. Yeah, I mean, I think that's plenty for sure. You gave us a lot of detail there. One thing I wanted to ask about, I've seen this feature before, I think it was Casey that mentioned it to me, was the Penny Arcade feature.
That's another cool feature that a lot of people, I should have called it Penny Slots. I think that would...
Penny Slots.
Penny Slots, but it's called Penny Arcade. So a lot of it's very similar to the bulk writer, okay? But what this does is instead of pasting in titles, you paste in URLs. So this could be a URL to kind of anywhere. You can put in a URL to an article I wrote. You can put in an Amazon URL and do a one-off product review. You can put in a URL to a YouTube video. And assuming that there is an automatic transcript, it will write a blog post based on that YouTube video. And your mileage is going to vary on that. But yeah, you put in URLs and then write content based on that. You can repurpose those articles. It's great for like RSS feeds. Maybe you have a news site and you're queuing up a bunch of different relevant news posts and then turning them into blog posts, uploading them to your WordPress site, kind of doing whatever you want.
Does this work for the whole website? Like you can put in, say, the domain or the sitemap of a website, I guess, and then replicate the whole site?
So if you wanted to do that, what you should do, and the Penny Arcade, well, let me take a step back. Penny Arcade is not designed for product roundups, but anything else, like a general info article or whatnot, it will work great for. Okay, so if you want to do a product roundup, there's a separate feature for that. So if you are replicating a website, make sure you're not getting like landing pages. Make sure you're not getting product roundups. Okay, everything else is fair game. So what you could do is go find their sitemap, and then once you find their sitemap, there's an easy, like, you just Google like a URL extractor. You know what I mean? Like you could find like AI. We go AI. Well, blogpostwriter.com. I think. There we go. So you can come in here and you can just take all this stuff. Then we can go over here to Google and just type in URL extractor. So paste this stuff in here. Extract. There's all our URLs. So we can take all these URLs now, go over here to ZimmWriter in the Penny Arcade, paste them all in there. See how that works?
Yeah, that's pretty useful, I think. When you're creating that amount of content at scale, obviously, some people might misinterpret this and then, they start spamming the whole internet and creating like hundreds of thousands of posts per year or whatever.
Yep.
How do you avoid spamming? Like, what's your recommendation for quality control?
How much is Google worth?
Trillions, probably, right?
Trillions. Okay, so you got this $1 trillion company who's telling people to eat glue sticks. All right. ZimmWriter, as far as I know, is not telling people to eat glue sticks. So you know what? If you want to write a bazillion articles, go for it. To be honest, what you use
glue stick's good though. Do they taste good?
I've never eaten a glue stick. I guess I don't know if I've become more calloused to what I read online. It's funny. It's like you get into affiliate marketing and then you realize it's like you've pulled the curtain back on the Wizard in Oz, and you've realized, oh wait, every single of top 10 review I'm reading is just a bunch of nonsense. There's like one or two good sites out there that will actually review the products and look at this stuff, but in general, most of the stuff online is just a bunch of nonsense. And yeah, there's truth to it, but it's either it was written very poorly, or it wasn't heavily researched, just not really adding any value. And these are big sites too. So at the end of the day, I think the goal is whatever you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to achieve eyeballs on your content so you can make a conversion, and you're doing that, you're winning, right? So I don't know. You can use ZimmWriter for high quality content if you want to. There's a lot of people that go very, very slow and methodically using the SEO writer inside of ZimmWriter. You can go very slow, do one blog post at a time. A lot of people do that, and that's perfectly fine too. Everybody has a different use case. So the ZimmWriter will fit almost any use case you have for writing content you want to publish online.
Yeah, 100%. This is actually one of the reasons that I tend to go to YouTube for product review information, because if I can see the product physically in their hands at
Yeah.
this stage, it's not generated with AI. I'm like, okay, this person has actually put some genuine time into creating it
For
and reviewing
now,
the actual product.
yeah,
Yeah, for now, yeah.
Until Sora comes out, and then you're like, I don't even know what's real anymore.
Oh, I don't know if you saw Matt Wolf's recent video on that Chinese app, but
I
it's absolutely
Oh,
crazy.
was that the person
Video
eating
generation is
the pasta?
Yeah, there was a few like that, and then it's basically an app that like anyone with a Chinese number can get access to, and you can generate videos directly on this app. Like Sora, you can't really play around with directly, can
Gotcha.
you? Unless,
Yeah,
but this is actually available to use and works. It's crazy.
that's awesome. Yeah, stuff's changing fast.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah. I mean, for you, obviously, you run this SaaS, you develop it, etc., like that. I know you mentioned you're a one-man team to me. How do you find the time to do all of this?
I don't know, man. A lot of sleep, too much caffeine, I think. Um, I also have a full time job that I'm now part time at. So it's not, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing ZimmWriter full time. I'm doing it part time. And I just launched another brand last week called Get Prompted. Have an AI course that teaches people how to prompt, and I based on all my experience that I've learned and stuff like that. So I don't know, just trying. I really had my nose to the grindstone this past year. I was working, till midnight each night, and it was fun building stuff, but it was tiring. And I think just keep working hard. I used to play a lot of video games. Haven't played video games in a long time. So my hobbies are lower. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of hobbies right now because I just don't have time.
Right, life is like a video game.
But yeah, it's cool once you really get into this, especially the development, like the programming. It becomes almost like you've gamified life a little bit. So it's kind of fun when you can reach that point.
Yeah, 100%. What's your take on AI detection tools? Are they BS? Do you use them? What's your take?
My take is whoever came up with them is a genius because they're like millionaires right now. It's like the people that sold the gold mining equipment to the gold miners, back during the gold rush. I think the only people that AI detection really benefits would be if you have this is kind of disingenuous, but if you are a writer and you have a client that wants human written content and you're trying to pass off AI written content as human written content, if you want to do, if you don't have any honor and you want to do that, then I could see AI detection being relevant to you. Or if you have a student who's, I think AI is great for schools because I would have loved it as a high schooler or something like that. Because then I didn't learn well with books, but then I could go to the book. I can go to the book now because I'm learning programming to program ZimmWriter in a different language. I can go and I can say, I don't understand this part. Can you help me understand it? Like, don't solve it for me. Just show me what this means. Explain it to me. And it's great for students if you use it the right way. But I could see teachers, if you have like a take-home essay or something, you want to make sure that it's not written by AI. But that's also problematic because sometimes, like the reason why the Bible comes across as written by AI is because the AI was trained on the Bible. And ultimately, as they continually train the AI, it's trained on more of what we write. What we write will just naturally be AI detected as AI because it was trained on what we write. So it's a losing battle. I think it's completely pointless, and I don't think it's relevant at all. And Google, they want to reduce their search costs as much as possible. They're not spending money determining who wrote the article. They're spending money trying to either figure out, is the article high quality, so people start, keep using Google and don't start using ChatGPT for their answers. That's what they care about.
On that topic, how bullish are you on the future of SEO? Because obviously, if it's so easy to create content, and with Google pushing AI overviews more and more, do you see a future for websites like 5-10 years down the line? How do you think SEO will change?
SEO, I think if all you have in your wheelhouse is ranking on Google, then you're doing a disservice for yourself. There will always be a need for getting eyeballs on content to make the conversion or to do whatever you're doing. Yeah, maybe you'll have maybe you just like you have that particular hobby and you just love talking about that. Okay, fine, that's great. But for the majority of us, we all want to make money. We all have a goal in mind. It's all a conversion or an ad or something like that. There's always going to be that need to get those eyeballs. And that the way we do that might change. It might not be through Google. It might be through ChatGPT. If ChatGPT starts citing stuff, I don't know. I think as AI makes generating just generic content easier, even if it is high quality generic content, what will matter more is if you have a brand. If you can not only target people at Google, but target on social. You have a following on social, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on Facebook or things like that, So the people that just want to, write a bunch of content and just appear in Google, they're going to find it harder down the road, I think.
And do you have any tips for finding opportunities on Bing? Do you think that SEO on Bing is different in any way?
Oh, definitely. So my buddy, like I said, he's got like 10 ZimmWriter licenses. He's generating like 1,000 blog posts a week. And he's not even drip feeding. He is like, the content velocity that Google doesn't like. He's just pumping them all out, publishing them all, interlinking them all, and going on to the next site. And he's not making like pre-AI content or Google slapping money, but he's slowly ramping up to that. And so it's impressive. So yeah, Bing right now is not doing what Google's doing. Now, are people happy with the results that they're getting at Bing? I don't know. Because if they're happy, then Bing's not going to change the algorithm. But if they're not happy, then Bing has an incentive to change the algorithm, and that could screw over people that are using Bing to generate traffic.
And do you have any tips for like ranking on Bing, or would you say it's the same process as Google? It's just different content ranks?
Oh, same exact process. Nowadays, like now that Bing's using the Chromium, the Bing browser is quite nice, and a lot of people just, like my dad, he doesn't care. He's not going to go to Google. He's just going to use the browser that came with his computer, and he's not all up with AI content and stuff. So he'll go to Bing and he'll do his search and he'll get his results and he'll take that recommendation or go to that site and make the conversion or whatever. So it's the same exact way. It's just not as much traffic as Google.
Yeah, it makes sense. Why do you think some SEOs are anti-AI? Like I see it so much, particularly on Twitter. Do you think there's some fear behind it? Do you think that they're worried that the strategies they recommend actually don't work, or what do you think it is?
I don't know if I've come across that. I've gone to, it's interesting. Before ZimmWriter, I never went to any SEO conferences, and the conferences I've been to, a lot of them, there's a healthy mix between local people and the national people, but everybody is, and not everybody's white hat. There's a lot of like cloud stackers there and a lot of black gray hat people there, and they're all about AI content. They don't, they're more cautious with pumping out massive amounts of content for their local, clients and stuff like that. They don't want to screw up their local clients because they're more focused on Google My Business and things like this. But yeah, they're all embracing it like heavily.
Yeah, it makes sense. Awesome. Well, appreciate you being on. You showed us exactly how to use ZimmWriter, how to optimize it, some case studies, some really good tips there. Is there anything else you want to share before you go?
No, other than, check out getprompted.ai. Like I said, I just released my my prompting course on and it's different from everything else. You've never seen anything like it before. It actually will teach you, if you've swam in the shallow end of ChatGPT and you want to go a little bit more into the deep end, this will teach you how to do it. It's 179 minutes. It's not going to waste your time, and definitely check it out.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll put that link in the description. So
thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you want to get a free SEO course, links inside the comments description. And if you want to get all of this stuff that I've mentioned today to make you more money with your website and rank higher with SEO so you can generate more leads, traffic, and sales to your business, feel free to book in a one-to-one SEO strategy session. Links inside the comments description, and you'll get an SEO domination plan, discover the secrets of link building, and we'll answer any questions you have. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it as always. Bye.